Women in the economy means wealth. Women in the economy means growth. Women in the economy means jobs.
Around the world, men are more likely than women to hold positions of political, social, and economic power. The result is deep inequalities, despite many countries having laws that advocate for gender parity. Laws alone cannot close the gap. Real change requires a shift in values, where equality is not just a set of laws, it is lived. We asked 3 experts in diplomacy, economics, and government to explain why the gender gap persists.
We have to ask ourselves the question, why is it that in the 21st century, men and women still have not achieved equality? And I think there's 2 reasons for this. One is we've been unwilling. 2, we've been unable. We've been unwilling because obviously it's about power, and who has the power doesn't want to share this power, even if we can have lots of very good reasons why power would be better if shared. We've also been unable because some of these inequalities are very deeply ingrained in our economies and in our societies.
The data shows progress towards parity is happening, but at a pace that is too slow for many.
100 years to reach parity is really shocking. And then the pandemic came and many other shocks, and that actually increased the number of years and gaps.
We want to break with the old view of power, organized by strong men, shaped by this muscular power.
We need to have this conversation starting from the premise that this is not a zero-sum game.
There isn't one cause of the gender gap. In many economies, it reflects caregiving expectations, sector segregation, and pay gaps, alongside enduring cultural norms.
We often hear that inequality is there because of culture, because of tradition, because of religion. But frankly, I don't know of any religion that says that it's good to pay a woman less than a man just because she is a woman. I don't know of any culture that says that women should not be part of the economy at the cost of making these communities poorer.
The machismo culture is obviously an obstacle to development and more broadly to the political power being exercised in the interest of the citizens and not in the interest of the power holders.
Let's make sure that we do not oppose equality to tradition, culture, and religion. They are not in contradiction.
The battle for equality began before we had data on diversity in business and in leadership. So what are we really talking about?
This conversation is about the solidity of our economies, the cohesion of our societies.
A few years ago, when the IMF came out with its first paper, that gender equality and female participation is macro-critical, we moved from thinking about women in the labor force as a statistic into the quality of growth when women are involved in jobs and are employed. There's an economic productivity element to it. And the statistics show that if there is gender equality, global GDP goes up by 20%. When we talk about inclusive growth, when we talk about quality growth, it means that everybody needs to be represented in jobs.
Gender inequality is reinforced by hidden structures. Unpaid care, data bias, policy inertia, and outdated mindsets. So where do we start to reshape norms?
Women have a crucial role in this fight, but men as well. We need to engage men in this fight to close the gender gap and to have parity in power.
Inspire women, but inspire men also to see this as their fight.
So what will make the biggest difference in the fight for gender parity and fairness?
If we are to promote real equality, we need to put a lot of transparency over the manner in which our economies work. Transparency is the best disinfectant. Financing, driving investments where it makes economic sense, and driving it to equality makes eminent economic sense. There are many examples around the world of countries, of economic sectors, of companies that are doing it and are doing it well. And we need to draw from those experiences. For that, we need data. This is not a cultural war. This is a war to unlock the economic potential in our economies.
It's important for the call for equality in leadership to be one of decision-making and authentic power, not just representation.
Why is it that women in politics are subject to scrutiny that no man is subject to in politics? For no good reasons. It's got to do with power.
More women in cabinet is an important factor because of two reasons. First, that women would be able to speak out more with respect to many of the opportunities to engage more women in the labor force. The second is because it opens up the door for more leadership positions for women. It's a policy element, but it's also a visual where if more women are in leadership positions and they're able to do well, it opens the door for more to follow.
We really need targeted policies and targeted financial support to make sure that we have more women who are running for political positions.
We don't want women on boards because they are women. We want women on boards because diversity is what makes those boards more resilient and take better decisions.
Gender equality is not just an ethical issue, it's a structural one. We know the barriers. We know that it holds the key to successful economies and happier societies.
So what do we do? Looking at the issue of gender gap today, I think what we have to make sure is that we do not move backwards. Right now, our most immediate task is to push back very strongly against the pushback. To discuss, to engage, to explain, to debate, to ask, to push. Inclusion is what will make our societies advance at a faster pace in a more cohesive manner together. Forward, 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 not backwards.